Last week I made $8,000 payout. Don't believe me? Here is the reward. You can scan the QR code and it is verified. In this video, I'm going to show you exactly the framework I use to be able to pull money out of the market consistently. Keep watching till the end and you will get every single thing you need to be able to pull out these sort of numbers from the market every single month. Let's dive straight into TradingView and I'll show you exactly what I do. Now, most people seem to think that you need complicated strategies. I'm telling you right now, you do not. You need one model. This is what I tell all my students when they come to me and say, what am I missing? I say, you're missing a model that has logic, framework, and repeats enough for you to be able to capitalize on it. Take a look, right? This is where I made my money. This expansion, right? And this expansion, mainly this one. So how did I know gold was going to expand from this point, right? Because I have repeating framework, repeating logic. So the algorithm refers to buy side and sell side liquidity at certain times. You guys know this. So we are also working within a range. Take a look. You have an expansion from down here. Where does this expansion originate from? This low to this high. Anything inside of here is just internal range liquidity, right? So when we take out this low, which it did get taken out on the futures chart, this is just the CFD. So that got taken out. This is external range liquidity. This low got engaged. Then we work higher. What are we waiting for after external range liquidity is engaged? So you've identified your range. You are now waiting for change in the state of delivery and or market structure, breaker, whatever it may be. That is all the algorithm changing its state of delivery. People seem to think for some reason, because everything's been taught wrong, that change in the state of delivery is only order blocks. Change in the state of delivery is a name. It's the algorithm changing its delivery from sell side to buy side. So it is not just order blocks. That is one way for the algorithm to change its state of delivery. The big down close candle here that traded into this sell side liquidity is your change in the state of delivery. Now, what also is your change in the state of delivery is trading above this swing high with this momentum. All right. So when we dipped back down into mean threshold of this order block, why mean threshold? Because that is the most sensitive point of the order block. The mean threshold, meaning 50% of the body here. Why the body? Because bodies hold volume. Now, when we trade into that, I am looking now for my framework. What is my framework? My framework is usually a leg down, this, accumulation, manipulation, distribution, right? You've all seen and heard of accumulation, manipulation, distribution. What you haven't heard of is using this when it is necessary. Using this when there's framework behind what you're trying to trade. Take a look. So we come down into 50% of this order block in a bullish market. We then are waiting for that framework to happen, that accumulation, manipulation, distribution. Take a look. Remember this orange line. That is your order block. That is mean threshold. We then have what? Accumulation, manipulation, distribution. Where did I get in? Me specifically, I bought here. Right there. Okay, why right there? Because it's a breaker block. So what I've just given you is, I swear, more valuable than 90% of information on YouTube. Why? Because it's framed around logic. Go back to what I said on the daily time frame. Then all of this begins to work. You have the framework of accumulation, manipulation, distribution. At this point, you know we are in a distribution phase. Why? Because we have that daily key level, we are in an expansion phase, and we've had accumulation and manipulation. That sets the stage for actual distribution. Take a look, right? Why is this your breaker block? Because we have a low, high, lower low, and once traded through, look at the body. The body of the last consecutive up close candles will be sensitive. So when it gets tapped on the retest, that is where I went long. And again, guys, this is all logic. It's not complicated. Why is my stop loss here? Okay, and I targeted up here, which it eventually obviously ran to. That's how I pulled $8,000 out of this market. And again, scan the QR code. It's verified. Okay, this is real trading with real logic to make what? Real money. Okay. Now, How did I know it's not going to come back down here? Well, because we've done all of this work down here. If now we're in a bullish expansion on the weekly time frame and the daily candles, the next daily candles, I'm predicting to be expansion to the upside. Why, if we've done all this work down here, because again, this is all inside of the weekly candle. The weekly candle started all the way back here, right? Sunday there. The weekly candle's about there. We've done all of this work on the downside. Now, I'm bullish, so I'm expecting that to be Judas swing, meaning a swing in the opposite direction to gather liquidity, only to send price then higher. So take a look. We've done all of this work on the downside, and look how long they spent down here. I say they because I'm referring to people who make the market. They spent all of this time down here to convince people and allow retail traders to get into the market. Look how long we spent down here. Tuesday 10:30, this is New York time, to Wednesday 9:45. Okay, nearly 12 hours, basically 12 hours. They spent down below this low. Doing what? Gathering liquidity. This is what no one talks about. How long you spend below liquidity is important. Now that's very advanced stuff. In a nutshell, it's building liquidity. It's giving them time to build liquidity. Now, think how much people are selling, below here. Why? Because we've broken below this low. Breakout traders are selling this. 1, 2, 3, 4. 4 taps below that low. Think how many people sold down there. And again, it's all logic. Now, when we get that expansion higher, I'm looking at this as your breaker block. Why should it not come back down here? Well, what sense would it make? We spent, 12 hours down there gathering liquidity. So why on earth, if I'm looking for it to expand this week, it's already Wednesday, why would it need to come back down here? What sense would that make? It wouldn't make any sense if we are actually bullish. If it does come back down there, I want to be out the trade. And this is where your risk management comes in. But I called this inside of my Discord. I said I want to see it go from here because of that logic. And this is private level stuff. They're not going to be happy I'm giving this away for free. But all of that logic ties into that daily chart, and that is how and why we see this expansion afterwards. Look at the expansion from there on. That is allowed to happen because we spent that much time down here, and that is exactly how the exact system I used to make $8,000. Now, when I say that, not many of you are going to take that on board, but listen to the words I just said. This is the exact system I use to constantly withdraw 5 figures a month. Wouldn't that be nice, right? Some of you work really, really hard to withdraw 5 figures a month. I'm telling you, and again, I'm not doing this to brag. I hate people that brag. I am telling you this to show you what is possible with actual teaching and actual logic. Most people on YouTube just talk about gaps and order blocks and breakers without context. This is a breaker with context. This breaker is important. Why? Because there's narrative behind the breaker. There's a reason why price should go to a certain level. Because of that storytelling, the stuff I just told you about, the weekly candle started up here. I'm expecting the weekly candle to be bullish. So if we've done all this work all the way throughout Wednesday, and then we broke above this high, now I want to see expansion. Most of your problems can be fixed by using narrative and logic. This is what people do not understand. Again, why am I bullish? We took out this range low, we expanded higher, we retraced into a discount of this, because that is a level, that is a price swing as well, and this here, that is also a discount. So with that logic, I then want to see my framework that I gave you guys earlier. Then we are set for expansion. And look, that is where I capitalized. Now on FTMO, you can't hold trades over the weekend, at least on a normal account. So I took my profits at this high, and that netted me $8,000. Really $10,000, but with profit split and everything, $8,000 got paid to my account. That is logic. That is narrative. That is story building behind price. To be honest, I want to raise the level of education on YouTube because it is really poor in the trading space. This is actual narrative, actual trading, and actual money being made in these markets, not only by me, but by my private students as well. Now, coming to the end of this video, I do want to push my one-to-one coaching. If you are interested in my one-to-one coaching, being trained by me personally, one-to-one weekly calls to go over stuff like this in actual detail, sign up below is the top link in the description. If you want to support me for free, drop a like on the video, drop a comment with any feedback, and use this logic, guys. This is real trading by real traders. With that being said, thank you as always for watching, and I'll catch you guys in the next one.